You know, it's funny. We see things every single day and never really think about them. Take this little thing, for example. It's just a postage stamp, right? But what if I told you this tiny piece of paper holds a story that's 100 years old? We're about to dive in and solve a really cool mystery that all starts with a weird kind of hidden code.
So, to kick off our investigation, we're not going to start with the part you recognize. Nope, we're going to start with the weird part. We're flipping this thing over because it's the back of the stamp that has these mysterious markings that got me curious in the first place.
Okay, just look at this. Seriously, on the back of this super old stamp, you've got this pattern of dots. It looks intentional, right? It almost feels like some kind of secret message or code punched straight through the paper. What on earth could that be?
And that is the big question, isn't it? That's what we're here to figure out. So let's put on our detective hats. We're going to gather all the evidence we can find and see if we can piece this little puzzle together.
All right, so to figure out what's going on with the back, our first move has to be, well, flipping it over. We need to look for clues on the front. Every little detail is going to help us build a case file, so to speak, for our little stamp here.
And there you have it, the whole shebang. On one side, the face of the stamp we all kind of recognize. On the other are mystery dots. Now that we can see them side by side, we can really start connecting the dots, pun totally intended, and figure out this story.
Okay, let's just break down the basics here. Get the obvious stuff out of the way. The picture, that's the Statue of Liberty. Easy. The text says United States postage, and the value is 15 cents. So no doubt about it, we're dealing with a classic American stamp.
Now, thanks to some digging into historical records, we can actually put a date on this thing. This exact design, the Statue of Liberty one, was first issued way back in 1922. Just think about that for a second. This little piece of paper is over a century old.
Okay, we've got the basics down. Now it's time to zoom in, get a little more granular. Because the physical details of the stamp itself, they hold some of the biggest clues about its story and even how it was made.
First thing, check out those rough edges. You know, the little tear-off bits? There's a technical name for them, perforations. And what's really cool is that the exact spacing of these little holes is kind of like a fingerprint. For experts, it helps them pinpoint the exact printing run and the era it came from.
All right, next up, the color. You see that yellowish brown tint? That's not just because it's old. It's actually a clue about how it was printed. This color is super typical for a technique called intaglio printing, which was huge back in the early 1900s. It's what gives the ink that slightly raised, engraved feel.
Okay, let's do a quick recap of our evidence. We have a 15-cent American stamp. We know it's from 1922. We know it's got that aged paper from a specific printing method, and it has those distinctive perforations. I think we have enough to go on. It's finally time to pull all this together and crack the case of the mystery dots.
So, after all that digging, what's the final verdict on these dots? Are we looking at some kind of spy-level secret code, or is there a much simpler, more down-to-earth explanation? Let's lay out the two big theories side by side. Theory 1, it's a secret message. I mean, that's the exciting one, right? But the problem is, there's just no historical record of anything like this. Theory 2, it's a postal cancellation. The post office has always needed a way to show a stamp has been used. And those irregular dots? That looks an awful lot like what you'd get from a partial hit from an old mechanical cancellation machine.
And that brings us to the key piece of the puzzle, the postal cancellation. So what is that exactly? Well, it's just the official mark the post office uses to show a stamp has been used. You know, so you can't just peel it off and use it again. It could be an ink stamp, some wavy lines, or sometimes a series of holes.
And there we have it. The mystery is solved. Those dots aren't a secret message after all. They're just the leftovers of a postal cancellation mark, punched right through the paper more than 100 years ago to make sure nobody could reuse it.
But hold on a second. Just when you thought we had it all figured out, this little stamp has one more secret up its sleeve. And this is a detail that, honestly, most of us would probably never even notice. But for a stamp collector, oh, this is the good stuff.
Let's go back to the front of the stamp for a sec. Look really, really close at the Statue of Liberty, and then look at the perforated border around it. See it? The whole picture is just a little bit off. It's shifted up and to the right. It's not perfectly centered.
So, in the world of stamp collecting, this has a name. It's called a misalignment. And yeah, technically, it's a printing error, a mistake. But weirdly enough, these little imperfections are exactly what collectors get excited about. It takes a totally common stamp and makes it unique. It tells a tiny story about a little slip-up that happened on the printing press all those years ago.
So it's pretty wild, right? What started out as a simple question, what are these weird dots, turned into this whole journey back in time. We uncovered a standard postal procedure, found clues about printing tech from the 1920s, and even found a little human error that makes this one stamp special.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, if one little postage stamp can hold all of that history, what other incredible stories are just sitting there, hidden, in the totally ordinary objects we see every single day?